is there just kind of a sense maybe in the locker room that like some of the success you've had over the last week could prove to be your big breakthrough or kind of maybe a turning point for you guys for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all feeling good. I think the energy's high. Really good win in Minnesota. Had a chance to celebrate together. I think that only helps our chemistry. You know, all that stuff off the court definitely fuels us. We're having fun with each other. We're having fun together playing. So I think it is. I think this is a good moment for us. And, you know, especially we're playing without one of our best players. So to do that in those circumstances, we're really just proud of ourselves.
In a game that will be remembered as a turning point in the WNBA season, the Indiana Fever dismantled the Las Vegas Aces 81-54 in a performance that showcased their defensive tenacity, offensive balance, and unshakable team chemistry. This victory, the Fever's first against the Aces since 2019, was a seismic moment for a young team finding its identity. Even without their franchise star, Caitlin Clark, Indiana proved they are a force to be reckoned with, delivering a masterclass in team basketball that left the defending champions reeling. Here's a detailed breakdown of how the Fever turned a highly anticipated matchup into a one-sided showcase, rewriting the narrative around their place in the WNBA, the absence of Caitlin Clark. Sideline.
Gang! Fever gang! Down goes the punk-ass Las Vegas Aces, everybody! Kelsey Mitchell, the road runner, out there dropping daggers with a 25-piece Boston Market with the rotisserie chicken, baked beans, corn on the cob, mashed potatoes, every drink available. The tiny assassin, Harry McDonald, out there slicing through the defense, getting buckets. Asia crybaby ass Wilson, hold this L. You ain't nothing but a free throw merchant, goofy Indiana Fever. That's how y'all ball. I don't know what's going on right now, but y'all got the momentum. We can't wait till Caitlin Clark is back on the floor.
Sidelined by injury, could have been a death knell for many teams facing a powerhouse like the Aces. Instead, it became an opportunity for the Fever to showcase their depth and resilience. Clark, though not on the court, was a galvanizing presence on the sideline, her energy radiating through the team. Cameras frequently caught her leaping from her seat, cheering every hustle play, and celebrating her teammates' successes with unbridled enthusiasm. Her leadership, even from the bench, underscored the intangible qualities that make her a cornerstone of this franchise. From the opening tip, Indiana seized control with a level of focus that spoke to their preparation and hunger. They rattled off the first 6 points, setting the tone for a dominant first quarter. By the end of the period, they led 21-14, shooting an efficient 53% from the field, while limiting the Aces to a meager 29%. The Fever's dominance in the paint was particularly striking, outscoring Vegas 16-4 in the opening frame. This early advantage wasn't just about hot shooting, it was a testament to Indiana's disciplined execution on both ends of the floor. They moved the ball with purpose, attacked the basket aggressively, and set a defensive tone that would define the game. The second quarter saw the Fever elevate their performance to another level. They outscored the Aces 25-10, shooting a jaw-dropping 82% from the field, including a perfect 6 for 6 in the paint. Vegas, by contrast, struggled to a dismal 24% shooting clip, unable to find any rhythm against Indiana's suffocating defense.
Basketball.
By halftime,
Asia Whistle Wilson, my God, you see how many free throws that lady have? Oh my God, on the stat sheet, she had basically 30 points, but all the free throws this woman got, man, they tried their best to keep the Aces in the game, man, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter, man. They destroyed the Aces. About freaking time the Fever finally beats the Aces, man. And without Caitlin Clark.
By halftime, the score was 46-24, and the game felt like a formality. The Fever's ability to maintain their intensity, even as the lead ballooned, spoke to their maturity and focus. A stark contrast to the Aces, who appeared rattled and disconnected. One of the game's pivotal moments came in the third quarter, when Lexi Hull, a player who has quietly become a model of grit and improvement, delivered a textbook box out against Aja Wilson. Hull positioned herself perfectly, using her body to carve out space and secure a critical rebound. It was the kind of fundamental play that coaches dream of, a moment that could be clipped for a training video. But as Hull secured the board, Wilson reached over her shoulders, clawing for the ball in a move that seemed like a clear over-the-back foul. The contact was blatant, and the Fever bench, led by coach Stephanie White, erupted in disbelief when the officials called a jump ball instead. The broadcast crew struggled to make sense of the call, with one commentator noting, "That's a jump ball? I thought that was over the back." The decision was baffling to anyone familiar with basketball's fundamentals. as Wilson's aggressive play clearly violated Hull's established position. For a moment, it seemed like the call could swing momentum toward Vegas, giving them a possession they hadn't earned and a chance to claw back into a game that was slipping away. But the Fever's response was a testament to their mental toughness. Rather than letting the questionable officiating derail them, they tightened their focus and continued their relentless assault. Hull, in particular, refused to let the moment define her night.
Let's go.
She battled
The Indiana Fever just beat the Aces. The first win for the Indiana Fever against the Las Vegas Aces since I was 22 years old.
She battled Wilson with renewed intensity, chasing rebounds and making the Aces star work for every inch. Her performance was emblematic of the Fever's collective resolve, a refusal to be rattled by adversity, whether from a tough opponent or a controversial call. This resilience turned what could have been a turning point for Vegas into a mere footnote in Indiana's dominant performance. If there was one aspect of the game that defined the Fever's victory, it was their defense. Indiana turned the Aces' offense into a shadow of its usual self, holding them to a woeful 26% shooting from the field, the lowest mark by a Fever opponent in 15 years. The Fever forced 17 turnovers, many of which led to transition opportunities that fueled their offense. Their dominance in the paint was overwhelming, outscoring Vegas 38-20 by game's end, with a 28-10 advantage in the first half alone. Indiana's defensive scheme was a thing of beauty. Every switch was executed with precision, every help rotation was perfectly timed, and the team played with a collective intensity that seemed to anticipate the Aces' every move. Players like Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard were immovable forces in the paint, shutting down driving lanes and contesting every shot. On the perimeter, Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hull hounded Vegas's guards, forcing rushed passes and errant shots. The Fever's defense wasn't just effective, it was a statement of intent, signaling that they can compete with the league's best.
But this was a big win for the Fever because the Aces were the only team that they had not won at least one game to last season, meaning the Aces swept the Fever last season. They actually haven't won a game against the Aces in 16 games. And they did it without Caitlin Clark. This team is crazy. They are beating the #1 team in the league first, and then they go and beat the Aces, who they haven't won to in 16 games. And they did it without Caitlin Clark, which is just a testament to how this team is finally developing a rhythm.
The Aces, known for their offensive firepower, were reduced to a disorganized mess. Their 7 points in the fourth quarter were a stark illustration of their collapse, as Indiana's pressure exposed cracks in their vaunted chemistry. The Fever's ability to sustain this defensive intensity for 40 minutes was a testament to their preparation and coaching, as well as their growing belief in themselves as a unit. Aja Wilson, widely regarded as one of the WNBA's premier talents, put up a stat line that, on paper, looked impressive. 29 points on 9 for 18 shooting, 11 for 13 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. But the box score told only half the story. Wilson's points came largely from free throws, as she benefited from frequent trips to the line. 13 attempts, just 4 fewer than the entire Fever roster combined. While her individual effort was undeniable, it couldn't mask the Aces' collective struggles. Outside of Wilson, the Aces' offense was non-existent. The rest of the roster combined for a paltry 7 for 43 from the field, a 3% shooting clip that underscored their lack of cohesion. Chelsea Gray, often praised as one of the league's top point guards, had a night to forget, finishing with 2 points on 1 for 3 shooting, 2 assists, and 5 turnovers. Her inability to orchestrate the offense or elevate her teammates was a stark contrast to the Fever's balanced attack. Other key contributors, like Kelsey Plum and Jackie Young, were similarly ineffective, with no Aces player outside of Wilson scoring more than 6 points. Wilson's performance, while statistically notable, felt like empty calories in the context of the game. Her 29 points couldn't close the gap, and the Fever's relentless defense ensured that her efforts had little impact on the outcome. The final score, 81-54, reflected the gulf between the two teams, with Wilson's individual brilliance overshadowed by Indiana's collective dominance. Coach Stephanie White deserves immense credit for the Fever's performance. Her game plan was executed to perfection, blending aggressive defense with disciplined offense. White's emphasis on ball movement and defensive rotations was evident in the Fever's 24 assists on 31 made shots and their ability to stifle the Aces' offense. Her frustration with the officiating, particularly the third quarter jump ball call, boiled over in the fourth quarter when she was assessed a technical foul. But rather than derailing her team, White's passion seemed to ignite them further, as they closed out the game with a dominant final period. White's post-game comments highlighted the team's mindset. "We're disciplined, intentional, and playing with high effort. We're having fun, and that's when we play our best basketball." This approach was evident throughout the game, as the Fever maintained their composure in the face of adversity and executed their game plan with precision. White's ability to keep her team focused, even without Clark, underscored her growth as a coach and the Fever's potential as a contender. The Fever's victory was a true team effort, with multiple players stepping up in Clark's absence. Kelsey Mitchell was the offensive engine, dropping 25 points on efficient shooting while dishing out 6 assists. Her ability to attack in transition and hit timely threes kept the Aces on their heels. Aaliyah Boston was a force in the paint, contributing 20 points and 7 rebounds while anchoring the defense against Wilson. Natasha Howard, named Commissioner's Cup MVP, was a revelation, posting 11 points and 10 rebounds with a tenacity that set the tone for Indiana's physicality. Lexi Hull's contributions went beyond the box score. Her hustle plays, particularly on the boards, and her defensive intensity against Wilson were critical in maintaining Indiana's momentum. Other role players, like Sophie Cunningham and Nalissa Smith, made key contributions, whether through timely shots or defensive stops. The Fever's 24 assists on 31 made shots were a testament to their unselfish play, as was their ability to maintain a 22-point lead despite Vegas's attempts to rally. This performance highlighted the Fever's growing chemistry, a theme echoed by players in post-game interviews. "We're playing free, having fun, and being joyful together," one player noted. This camaraderie, fostered by Clark's leadership and White's coaching, has transformed the Fever from a young, inconsistent team into one that can compete with the WNBA's elite. This victory was more than just a win. It was a proclamation. The Fever, who hadn't beaten the Aces in 16 games, proved they can hang with and dominate the league's best. Their ability to execute without Clark suggests a depth and versatility that will make them a formidable opponent as the season progresses. With Clark set to return, the Fever's ceiling is sky high, as her playmaking and scoring ability will only amplify their already potent attack. For the Aces, this loss was a stark wake-up call. Billed as a dynasty, they looked disjointed and unprepared, with their depth and chemistry exposed as weaknesses. The narrative of an unstoppable juggernaut took a significant hit, as their inability to respond to Indiana's pressure raised questions about their identity. Wilson's individual brilliance couldn't mask the fact that her teammates failed to step up, and coach Becky Hammon will need to address these issues if the Aces hope to reclaim their status as title favorites. This game reshaped the WNBA hierarchy, signaling that the Fever are no longer a feel-good story but a legitimate contender. Their defensive prowess, balanced offense, and ability to overcome adversity, whether from injuries or officiating, suggest a team built for the postseason. The Aces, meanwhile, face a critical juncture. With their confidence shaken and their vulnerabilities exposed, they must regroup quickly to avoid further slippage in a competitive league. For Fever fans, this victory was a moment to savor. The team's first win over the Aces in nearly a decade, achieved without their star player, was a testament to their growth and potential. As one fan put it, this is Fever basketball, connected, fearless, and ready for the moment. If you're a Fever supporter, drop CC and Lexi in the comments to celebrate this historic win. The Indiana Fever have arrived, and with Caitlin Clark's return on the horizon, the rest of the WNBA is on notice.